What's up, guys? It's Meg, and it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the best show on television, AMC's The Walking Dead. Today we're talking about Season 6, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, start to finish. Now, I know I'm super late on this review, but a couple of you have still been asking for it, so I thought, why not? I will still put it up and let you guys know what I thought about the episode. This review is going to have to be pretty quick because I've already recorded another video on this SD card, and there's not a lot of room left, so I apologize if this is shorter than normal, although some of you will probably like that. Also, there may be interruptions because there's a bunch of kids running towards me right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Actually, I can't even tell if this is focused or not. Hopefully this is focused. So in my last video, I explained kind of why I'm in this weird location. It's freaking cold outside right now, though. My hands are frozen. I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm making this a quick video. Okay, it's really cold outside right now. At least it's not raining though, right? So, start to finish, Episode 8, the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt like this episode was kind of anticlimactic. I was expecting more from a mid-season finale. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I liked the episode a lot. I liked a lot of the things that happened in the episode, but I just felt like the way they just cut it off and ended it and then forced us to wait a few months before they're gonna like let us see the end of that scene was annoying, and I did not really appreciate it. I thought they could have at least played out that scene and then left us hanging on something a little bit more dramatic, or, you know, I mean, I don't know. We all have our opinions on it. I just didn't like how they just cut it off as they're walking through the crowd and Sam saying, "Mom?" Like, I thought they could have done more. I don't like that they cut that scene in half. I wanted them to at least play out that scene, that portion of the scene, or something. I don't know. I suppose for a non-comic book reader, you would think that the finale was, you know, intense, and you're like, what's gonna happen if you don't know what happens in the comics? Because I've read the comics, I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna happen. Obviously they change things sometimes, but this scene is pretty much playing out exactly like in the comics. So, you know, for a non-comic reader, maybe it was a better, you know, you did feel like it was a better ending for a mid-season finale. But for me, knowing what they could have done and how they could have ended it, I felt a little disappointed. So this episode starts and ends with Sam, and I feel like a lot of it kind of revolved around his character and you know, the fact that they purposely started out the episode with him and some creepy music. I really like that music, and then ended the episode with this ending of him, you know, starting to freak out, which we knew he was going to do. I found the fact that his mom, Jessie, the fact that she had no idea really just how far gone he really was. You know, he had locked himself in the bedroom, and she was not aware of what was happening to him in this change that he was going through. I mean, when you look at him for the first time, he's sickly. Like, you can tell he's pale. He hasn't seen daylight probably, and you know, there's some stuff going on with him. And the fact that she was not paying any attention whatsoever to this change that he was going through was disturbing to me as a mother. And I feel like up until that point, she had shown that she was a pretty good mom, you know, and I didn't really question that much, because she was willing to, you know, kill that woman wolf to defend her son and protect her children. You just feel like she's a really good mom at that point. And then the fact that she neglected Sam so much that she didn't even notice that they were putting the walker guts on and the sheets on, and she didn't even, like, he came into the room all shocked, and it was like she was surprised, like, oh yeah, I have this other son. I don't know. I found it weird. I didn't like it, but, you know, ultimately, if that's how they're going to play her character, you can see how it's going to end. Like, she sealed her own fate by choosing to ignore the fact that her son was going through all of this stuff. I feel like because of her lack of care in his emotional well-being, again, she sealed her own fate. I mean, she says to him, just pretend to be brave, and that's pretty much the only comfort that she gives him before stepping into a herd of walkers. It's just like, pretend that you're brave. And I feel like she could have done so much more to comfort him and protect him as they were walking through. Like, maybe instead of having him walk behind her, she could have been holding him in front of her, you know, letting him feel like she actually cared. Maybe he would have felt more safe and wouldn't have had this freak out. But because she's pretty much neglected him this entire time, you know, I mean, she gets what she gets, and I feel like obviously we know people are gonna die at this point. Okay, so moving on from Sam and Jesse, we got another Carol fake out, and that was probably the only good part in this stupid Morgan and Carol showdown that we had. I'm so over it. I'm really over the way that Morgan is acting and the way that the writers have chosen to portray his character in the TV series. I'm disappointed. I feel like Morgan can be so much more, and maybe he eventually will, but to me it's disappointing that they've chosen to kind of push this no killing, his new motto in life so far. And I didn't like that. I mean, we have these two extremes. So we have Carol, who's extremely opposite of Morgan. She is completely willing to kill anybody and everybody who threatens her way of life and protecting the ones that she loves. But I feel like, maybe she has taken it a little too far, but then we have this completely opposite character, Morgan, who is trying to promote peace and we're not killing anyone. Like, they're just these two extremes. And then having this showdown, I felt like the fight in this episode with them was kind of, I don't know, it felt weird and I didn't particularly enjoy it. Okay, this is the second cop that I've seen pull up right outside this park here. So sorry if I keep looking away. It's kind of weird. There's a few people here now. Some of the people left, but I think they're looking for someone because there's two cops now. Anyways, moving on. I thought that this showdown thing between Morgan and Carol, I just didn't appreciate it in the episode. I didn't enjoy it. For one, I really like Carol, and I'm kind of sick of this Morgan thing. So that being said, comic spoiler here, just a brief one. But the fact that the wolf got away, so Morgan, Carol wasn't able to kill him, Morgan knocked her out, then the wolf knocks Morgan out, and they're just these two stupid people laying there, passed out, and it was annoying. I didn't like it. Anyways, he escapes with Denise and out into, and they don't know that there's walker swarms out there, So he escapes with her with a gun out into the walker swarms. And now, being able to kind of, the Carl getting his face shot in the comic books. So originally we obviously thought that it was going to be Ron. They were kind of promoting that, and I feel like they were trying to make us think that. Now that we know that that's not what's happening, Ron doesn't have a gun anymore. Moving forward, I'm like 90% sure that the person, the wolf, is going to go out into the swarm. He's going to be starting to shoot wildly at the walkers. We don't know if they know how to shoot a gun. They did not have any of those kinds of weapons when, we first come into contact with them in this TV show. So we don't have any idea if he even knows how to shoot a gun. And he is going to be shooting wildly. He's probably going to hit Carl. And then, that's where that scene's going to come in. So end comic spoiler here. I feel like if they do indeed, have Carl get shot, he's carrying Judith under his bloody gut poncho. So as much as I don't want it to happen, this could very well lead to Judith's death as well. I'm hoping, and I also just don't necessarily think the writers are going to go this way, but we have to be open to all possibilities. So to kill a baby on live television, not live television, but television in general, to see a baby be killed is not something that I think would go over well with TV audiences. Yes, this is a gory show, but I just think that there's this extreme here where we're not going to kill a baby where you can see it happen. Like, we're not going to see a walker eat Judith. It's just not going to happen. So the fact that she's being covered, it's kind of like the scene from Lori in the comics, when she gets shot and she's holding Judith and you don't actually see any kind of gore. She lands on Judith. Judith could have gotten shot. We don't know, but she's crushed anyways. So there's this possibility of, Carl falling or maybe even Judith getting shot, something like that. And because she has the covering on, we're not going to see an actual dead baby. So I feel like there is this slight possibility here. But that being said, if I, obviously if I had my own choice, I would choose to see Judith move on. She has a lot of potential for this, this young child character growing up in this kind of apocalypse situation. I think it would be really cool to see her continue to grow and see what they have in store for her. We saw in the comics Carol died at a very early point at the prison, and so now we have this great TV show version of Carol that has just evolved and become this really amazing, awesome character. So I could definitely see Judith kind of, going along that route too. just because it happened in the comics where she dies, there's this whole open thing where we don't know what could happen to her now that she's still alive in the show. And I personally would appreciate them not killing her off and, continuing to move forward and seeing where she goes. But like I said, there is a huge possibility here. Why did they put her underneath Carl? You know what I mean? Maybe they're probably trying to fake us out and make us worry about her for no reason. So meanwhile, we have Maggie, who escaped the Walker herd just barely by climbing up onto one of the observation platforms, but the ladder gets knocked out from underneath her, so she's stranded up there. We don't know how long she's going to be stuck up there. How long is this No Way Out storyline going to go in the second half of season 6 here? So is it going to just be one more episode, a couple episodes? So we don't know how long she's going to be stranded up there. We know that Glenn and Enid have seen her, so I think they're going to play a huge part in helping rescue her, and then also helping to lead some of this Walker herd away, making some kind of distraction. So I'm happy to see that Glenn has seen that she's alive. I feel like the fact that she's stuck up there is going to be kind of the same version of when Andrea was stuck in the watchtower in the comics. She's not going to have food, she doesn't have water, she doesn't have anything, she doesn't have any way of getting down. So that's definitely going to be a pretty good story there. Also, we don't know if she's hurt or not. So the episode leaves us with 2 cliffhangers here, and obviously one I didn't appreciate. The other one was in the Negan introduction, and I thought that was pretty cool. But let's start with Sam yelling for his mother, "Mom!" I think we pretty much know what's going to happen in this scene. I did not appreciate the way that they just left us hanging. I appreciate cliffhangers. I like cliffhangers. I just didn't like this one. It felt wrong and it felt off. It felt like they needed to... it felt like a commercial break, not you're gonna wait a couple months before you get to see what happens next. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. You know this already because I already talked about it. So moving right along though, the second cliffhanger is Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham meeting these saviors, and we hear the first mention of Negan's name. Obviously, every fan of the comics is going crazy right now. I am so excited to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan portray Negan. I think he's going to do amazing. That being said, anybody who knows Negan from the comics you guys, if you're emotionally attached to any of the characters in this show, Glenn or Maggie or Daryl or any of them, Abraham, that the introduction to Negan is a very scary thing, and personally it gives me a lot of anxiety because I'm so emotionally invested in the show and the characters. I feel every time one dies, I feel like it's a friend that died. So knowing that Negan is coming at some point in the second half of season 6, probably not towards the end, not until the end, but the fact that we know that he's coming at some point gives me so much anxiety that I almost want to be like, no, I don't want it to happen. I don't want to watch that episode where we actually see him for the first time because I'm so scared for what's going to happen to one of our beloved characters. Probably the biggest thing I'm excited for in episode number 9, and I'm hoping they show it, is what Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha actually decide to do against these saviors. So obviously they're demanding all of their belongings. So it can go either way. Either they're gonna fight. Daryl and Abraham and Sasha are 3 of our biggest fighters in our group. They know how to fight and they're willing to do it. And so, that's my first thing is, are they going to fight to keep their belongings? Or they've heard the help over the radio. They know that something bad has happened at Alexandria. Are they just going to be like, fine, take it, and not risk a fight in order to get back to Alexandria quickly? It's kind of up in the air at this point. So that's my question to you guys. What do you think they're going to do specifically? Do you think they're going to stay and try and fight off these guys? They do have a fuel truck, and the saviors have guns and ammunition. So there is, it's a very, they don't want to be shooting guns near this fuel truck because obviously that's going to lead to something really bad happening. But are they willing to fight for what's theirs and what they have and for a ride back to Alexandria, or are they going to just give it up willingly in order to hurry back to Alexandria and then, figure out what to do about these saviors in this crazy group? Then Daryl has seen them before, and he's had this run-in with Dwight, so I have a feeling that he's going to put 2 and 2 together and realize that these are the same people. So that's my question to you guys. What do you think they're going to do? And also, what did you like about this episode? What did you dislike? What was your favorite part? Let me know in the comments. Again, I'm sorry for this late video. My next video will be the issue 149 comic review. I just purchased it and I haven't read it yet, so I'll be reading it along with you guys. Hopefully, maybe. I actually don't know if I'll be reading it with you guys because if I'm out here, it's cold. Did I mention it's cold out here? And it's kind of hard to focus. I think everybody left pretty much, but there's still a few people somewhere. I see cars, I just don't hear anyone. Anyways, I'm wrapping up this reveal. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed the episode. There were things I would have changed, and it felt a little anticlimactic for a mid-season finale. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If I missed touching on anything, please feel free to let me know in the comments, and we will talk more about it in a future video or there. Hope you guys have a great day, and happy holidays if I don't see you before then. Bye.